Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me directly, tmosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today we're discussing a legend from 2019. Launched that year and made 99 pieces in platinum. This is the FP Journe Chronometre Souverain Dubai, sometimes known as the Chronometre Dubai. It was a milestone for Journe to open his first Dubai boutique, and that was in the Dubai Mall. And so this boutique exclusive was a commemorative piece built in platinum, but on a strap to celebrate the occasion. Now, to find it on the optional 5-figure FP Journe matching platinum bracelet is an extraordinary thing. Now you go from there being 99 examples of this in the world to perhaps single digits that have this extraordinary and extraordinarily expensive factory accessory platinum bracelet. And it's not simply a green chronometre bleu, first because it's in platinum, not tantalum, but also because it uses the 40mm case of the Chronometre Souverain, not the 39mm case of the Chronometre bleu. So 40mm in diameter. It is very slim. I measure this watch at downright svelte. It's only 8.3 millimeters thick, and then it is 48.5 from lug tip to lug tip. This watch absolutely stunning in every regard. I actually put it on a scale, and it was 221 grams. And part of the reason for that is that the end link to end link span here is going to be 57.5 millimeters, and then it's got a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. So with that exceptional wingspan and all that platinum, this winds up being heavier than a steel Blancpain 50 Fathoms in 45 millimeters with a full steel bracelet. That's right, a full steel 45 millimeter 50 Fathoms dive watch on the matching steel X71 bracelet is about 209 grams, and this is 221. That is getting up to about half a pound for those of us in the old colonies. You can really feel the mass and the class of this watch. I mentioned almost 58 millimeters from end link to end link, so it is broad across the wrist. And that's why I'm going to caution that if your wrist is any smaller than mine, you're really going to want to just buy this for its collectible value, put the bracelet back in the case for posterity, and then put it on a strap, because on a strap, this will fit a wrist of 14 centimeters circumference, but on the bracelet with the solid end links, you could see it's pushing right out to the edge of my wrist on each side. Down the barrel is the truest angle. Over the top gives you a little bit more illustration, though it does exaggerate the width a bit. The good news is it is a dress watch par excellence. It will slide easily underneath a cuff, even the tightest of dress shirt sleeves. About that bracelet, beautiful. Now, Journe is vertically integrated, making clasps, bracelets, cases, dials, and movements. So there is a lot of control over the manufacturing quality here. And so you can see the fit of the end link to the case is perfect. It matches the tumble home of the lugs, the curvature of the case. Very integrated, very handsome. The individual links, relatively short in cross-section, making for a very fluid feel on the wrist. And you can see that it's properly designed on the underside to avoid pinching skin or pulling hair. And then you've got full-size links and then the intermediate-size link on each side. So you can see we have 3 full-size links on this side plus the intermediate-size link in case you find yourself in between sizes. Then you turn it over and you can see we have 3 more full-size links and 1 more intermediate link. And because Journe didn't want to risk stripping out platinum screws, you could see the tonal, is actually, a little bit of tonal contrast in the form of gray gold. You can see how the screws are warmer than the rest of the platinum. Interesting insight into the mechanical properties of white gold, which is harder than not just platinum, but other golds. And because white gold is the strongest gold, it is often used for the mechanical parts of platinum bracelets and clasps, which is why you can see this remarkably warm tone. This is not an rhodium-plated traditional white gold. If you've ever wondered what traditional white gold without the rhodium plate looks like, it looks like this, which I find really cool. But the reason it's used is because it's white enough to look natural alongside the platinum, but it is significantly stronger as a moving part than platinum would be. So if you ever wondered what traditional pure white gold looks like without a rhodium plate, it's almost a very pale yellow gold. And you might even notice, if you're a Journe fan, this is very similar to the straw gold used on the Journe Society chronometer. So it's a snap shut, which means it snaps shut with a little bit of closure security, but it's not a trigger system or a clamshell, and it's a sequential close with one side closing before the other. Really interesting insight into the way these things are made, looking at the tonal contrasts there. Now the rest is all platinum, as you can see, ultra white. You really do see the difference between white gold and platinum here. We have Journe's distinctive double dimple unbranded knurled crown, one of those designs that's so iconic you know who made it even without a label. We have very fluid case band with integrated lugs, with the flange of the bezel and the case back defining the mid case. It's got a sort of integrated lug Calatrava Portuguese or type aesthetic with a domed bezel. And the dial covered with green lacquer, and a lush and lovely green lacquer at that. Where this separates itself from the Chronometre Bleu, there are a couple of different ways, but the Chronometre Bleu features a printed dial, whereas here you can see all of the numerals are applique white gold Arabic numerals in the distinctive Journe font, and that the hands at center are also white gold, and that all of the white gold features on this dial have been media blasted for a discreet matte finish. Don't you love the way the 8 and the 7 shrink around the small seconds? Now turning it over, mechanically it is the same as a standard Chronometre Bleu would be. So it's a caliber 1304, albeit without the power reserve indicator of the Chronometre Souverain. It does nevertheless say Chronometre Souverain on the base plate, and you can see it's made of 18 karat gold. So we've got a watch that has a solid gold movement, a full platinum bracelet, and a full platinum case. And what's interesting right here is that it appears that this is an era of Journe bracelet before Journe was actually making his own bracelets. So it appears that the bracelet is somewhat older than the watch, because you can see the Eleanor maker's mark of the French Eleanor manufacturer that built cases and bracelets and some components like end links for Journe prior to his centralization of all case, bracelet, clasp, and dial making in a single building in Geneva. So that's really interesting that this is a heritage bracelet on a more modern watch. And you can see the maker's mark on the case is not obviously that of Journe either. So this is a fascinating sort of time capsule of different eras of FP Journe. 30 meters water resistant, so don't go swimming with it. What's interesting to see right here is that we have these two barrels in parallel, and the idea is not to create a huge power reserve. It's 56 hours, but the idea is to have an immense amount of torque and a very flat torque plateau from maximum wind to minimum wind, so that, for example, it doesn't need a constant force mechanism. As long as you keep it wound on a daily basis, winding at the same time each day, it will operate with isochronous qualities of a very flat torque curve and consistent timekeeping. 6-position adjustment, so that is one more than a standard chronometer. 22 joules. You can see that it features a free sprung balance. What it lacks in beat rate, it's 3 hertz. It makes up with an enormous amount of mass, and it is free sprung for precision of adjustment, as well as to better shake off the potential that a concussion to the watch could change the timing, as it could with a mobile stud index. So it's interesting seeing some of these Eleanor parts here, and also maker's marks of suppliers, because those are now so alien on Journe watches. But a fascinating window into the world of Journe. Different eras, the case, the bracelet, the model itself, and the clasp. A lot of fun and very collectible, because these features in combination would be extraordinarily difficult to duplicate. So reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability regarding this Chronometre Souverain Dubai.